finishing up the book. I am still in the opinion that it is a really good read. I have thoroughly been enjoying it. I hope to finish it pretty soon. I will say that the main characters, like I was mentioning before, um, Kennedy, I'm sorry, the main characters, Josiah and Yasmin, I am telling you, they have thoroughly took me through a emotional roller coaster with how they both feel about each other. I mean, it is absolutely, um, it's just a lot, to say the least, that they have this heightened emotion when they get around one another that lets you know that their story is not finished, that they still have so much more to go. And that in itself is just mind blowing, because for them to walk away and actually divorce and be divorced for now it's 2 years later, and they still have this emotion around each other, lets you know that the story is not finished. Now, of course, I haven't finished the book, so I don't know what the end is yet, but I want to take you through the journey with me so that you can feel the things that I'm feeling, and of course, share any things that you may have as you are reading it, or once you have read it, to just comment on how you felt about it. Because, like I said, it is an emotional ride on both sides. So just so that you know where I am in this this point of the book, they have went on a trip, a trip to see a restaurant that they may end up purchasing to expand their business, because they are in business together still, even though they're divorced. And so they go on this trip and find out when they get there, when they arrive, that instead of them having two individual hotel rooms booked, that they only booked one hotel room. And so they have to stay in the room together. Now, of course, they've been married, they've been kids, so uh, they have definitely been alone plenty of time. But in this close proximity with each other, and knowing how it has been built up in the start of the book, how they both individually feel about each other, but the other one really doesn't know how the other one feels, that they still have emotions, that they're still attracted to one another, they're still seeing each other in that light. Each person does not know that, and so that in itself is a wild ride, because they're both expressing in the book how they uh, look at one another, and still get this rise, this angst for each other. How they see, how good one another looks, and how it makes them feel. And so it's just interesting, and it's funny sometimes even, but it's really interesting to even think of the possibility of somebody actually being in that kind of position. In and itself, I'm like, who's gonna still work together that closely? I mean, I guess it can happen, and it does obviously happen, but working together that closely after a divorce, it makes it a little difficult and interesting. But at this point, he, Josiah, has moved on and been dating someone, and he actually ends up breaking up with them right before they go on the trip. He called it quits because he knows, he feels like this is not right for me to kind of drag this person along, because I am not at a point where I need to be dating someone. I'm not there yet. I have not mentally checked in to be available for someone else in my life in that light. And this person that he is dating, is all in, and they do want to build something with him, but he knows the right thing to do at this point is to break it off, because he doesn't want to carry uh, that burden on of being reliable, and just uh, being that person in for that other individual, because he's not, because he's still that person for his ex-wife. That's me. So, anyways, I wanted to jump on. I'm probably not going to come back until I've actually finished the book so that I can then express full knowledge of how it ends and go through all of that emotion and information and share it with you guys. So, hopefully, that'll be in a few days. I'll be done and we can talk about it and, get my thoughts. Okay, so I am coming back to talk to you about the book by Kenny D. Ryan that I just completed. I wanted to make sure that we wrap it up and I tell you everything that I felt after completely reading the book. Okay, so um, the book is called um, Before I Let Go. Sorry. So, anyways, wanted to share with you all of my thoughts and everything that I felt about the book. So, number one, I enjoyed the book. I would consider this book to be a 5-star read. This is my very first book, again, reading by Kennedy Ryan. And I can tell you that this book, it really is an enjoyable read. Speak to you because it's just the ride, the emotion, the things that happen that it takes you through, and the point of view that it takes you through for both of the characters. And the main characters are Yasmin and Josiah, and they what the book is about. And we've talked about that. I've said that already, but I just wanted to reiterate how it just vividly goes through all of their different angles and all of the things that they're dealing with and the things that they didn't deal with or they didn't deal with enough. Uh, it really does a wonderful job of creating their whole perspective on marriage and what happens when you are dealing with an emotional roller coaster of things that are happening to you consistently all at once that are highly emotional. The loss of a mother figure, the loss of a child that you are anticipating, not, just ready to have, and then having to navigate that loss and how you would handle it and how they handled it and what they did and how they found their way back to each other, which is remarkable. I mean, I think that whole persona of being able to figure out what you what you can hold on to, what you can do to actually find your way back to each other in the midst of it all. And I'm gonna tell you one thing I thought that was really cute is how they got back together intimately, but didn't want anyone else to know, and it was just something between them. I thought that was done quite well. I thought that the way that they, or the way that the author wrote that in, she did a really, really good job. She was able to really zone in on why they were choosing not to share it with anyone just yet. But then once it got out there and they did share it, that was also interesting and cute and emotional as well. Emotional for both parties, for both Yasmin and for Josiah. And I'm gonna tell you, it made me think about something that I found out with my parents when I was really, really young. They were together when I was young, of course, and then they split up. And at the time when I was a kid, I had no idea. I didn't know this. But they actually got back together and tried again. They did just that. They had a second chance and they tried to work it out. I never knew about it. Didn't know about it until I was an adult. And they chose, like in this book, not to share that with me because they didn't want me on that emotional roller coaster of, like most kids, they want their parents together, especially if you have grew up without them for a period of time or with them for a period of time and then they get back together. You are very excited about that and you would be very happy, for especially the young kids. But they didn't share it with me because they didn't know. And if it was going to work out, and they were in the emotional roller coaster, so they didn't want me in it too. And I thought that was really sweet of them, and I'm unfortunate not able to ask my mom about that because I didn't find out from my mom. I actually found out from my mom's sister. She shared that with me years later. But my dad is alive. My mom is passed. My dad is alive, so I actually think I may talk to him about that one day because I just never even talked to him about it. But anywho, I really enjoyed this book. Thought it was a great read. If you are looking to step into Kennedy Ryan, this was my very first book by her, and if you maybe want to read more, this is certainly not her first book. So, going to enjoy picking up with others. Hopefully, this was helpful for you if you are thinking or on the borderline of wanting to read it. And if you have some other ideas and want to, converse about it, please drop me some comments. Let's talk about it. Anyway, I appreciate you watching and hope that this was interesting and something that you found helpful to tell you about the book. And please like, subscribe to the channel.